Hello. Tonight, Today I want to tell you about something that you don't hear a whole lot about, but I've been seeing a little bit more on YouTube here lately. The behemoth, Leviathan, and the Ziz, which behemoth and Leviathan are both mentioned in Job chapter 40, and are very well known through several different documents and stuff. And I think they're actually mentioned a couple other times in the Bible. Um, and the Ziz is only mentioned twice in Psalms. But for those that aren't familiar with what these creatures are, the behemoth was described to be a large animal, the greatest of Hawa's creatures, that could lift itself up with its belly, with the muscles in its belly, had a tail like a cedar, and a mouth big enough to swallow up the Jordan. And some people try to say this is a hippopotamus or a elephant, but they do not match those descriptions because neither a hippopotamus or an elephant have a tail like a cedar. Now, my personal opinion, I believe it was a brontosaurus. I believe that I am absolutely a creationist. I believe that dinosaurs were created on the fifth day with all the other animals, and that was just the greatest of the dinosaurs. But mythology tries to put it as a creature almost like the Titans in Greek mythology. The Leviathan, as it is described in Job, is a fire breathing dragon, but it is a sea serpent. According to mythology, according to other scriptures, it is a sea serpent, a fire breathing sea serpent. And probably a great animal in itself. Some people say it's evil, but I think they demonize everything that comes from Hawaii. And I do not believe it was one of its own. I mean, you see things like Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, all over the world in different lakes, all cold water lakes, such as Alaska and South America. I know there's two more that I can't think of where they're at right now. I think one's in the Congo. And in the Congo, they also still mention seeing brontosauruses, diplodocus, something to that general breed still living in that area. And then there's the Ziz, Z-I-Z. This is a very seldom mentioned creature. Um, the Native Americans had a mythological mythology about it, but they called it the Thunderbird. A bird that was so big that it could black out the sun with its wings, shot lightning from its eyes, and breathed fire from its mouth. The great bird that brought the storms, and kept the winds from destroying the earth. Some of that is Judaic belief too. But I believe these are all different forms of dragons. And they say dragons are mythological. Do you know the word dragon by itself is mentioned 22 times in the Old Testament? And I do not believe it's metaphorical. I believe in the literal word on almost everything of the Bible. There is some things that are somewhat, but I think they're misinterpreted. Um, but the dinosaurs were a form of dragon. They were the dragons of the earth. Hawa really likes dragons. The seraphim are the highest order of angels, worshipped before the thrones day and night, the fiery ones. And even Hawa may have a dragon form at sometimes, because he said, "I am the brother of the dragons," but he also in Psalms 18, when he jumps on the back of the seraphim, it says that he devours David's enemies with the fire from his mouth and the smoke from his nostrils. So apparently, Hawa liked dragons. It says every dragon would bow before him. They were the creatures that only he could control. And it makes sense that he made one to guard the sea, and one to guard the land, and he wants to guard the sky. And maybe not all the same size. I mean, we know for a fact that we only know about 20% of what's in the ocean, or at least that's the figures they give us. But I do know when they were exploring the ocean, at some point they seen something that they decided to start exploring. Gave up on the ocean and started trying to figure out how to get off the planet. And rumored that the great bomb they set off in the ocean was to try to destroy something, not just test how powerful nuclear weapons are underwater. But regardless, this is my theory on it. And the Ziz, I've seen these things not up close, but I've seen them flying in the skies because we used to go and watch them, me and one of my brothers. And you see them flying around, shooting fire, flying around circles. I mean, they're out there. You can see them at night. You go out in the middle of nowhere or somewhere close to where they live, you can see them. Now, I think it'd be amazing to see one up close. And there's very little writings on this creature. Some things do say that it's so big that it can stand on land, and its head touched the skies, the firmament. And but this may just be the biggest of them, and it might be just a little overindulged, maybe. I don't know. I've seen videos of dragons in the sky during the storms that were bigger than buildings, so it may not be exaggerated at all. And I've seen videos of things coming out of the ocean that look like Godzilla. So, is Leviathan just one creature? Just, or is it a certain? Was there certain forms of these things? I mean, anything that was in the ocean would have survived the flood because it would have been able to swim. But I don't know what everybody else thinks. I mean, I think there's dragons of the land, the water, and the sea. Land, the water, and the air. My bad. Still today. If anybody has any other thoughts or just think I'm crazy, please leave it in the comments. This is going to be a pretty short video overall, but I just thought it was an interesting topic. La Hawa, may you be blessed.